hurts. When you hear ouch, that hurts, you may think of a boo-boo, a cut, a scrape, or a minor injury. In this case, today we're going to talk about domestic violence. Domestic violence is any form of maltreatment that takes place in a heterosexual or homosexual romantic relationship between adults or adolescents. Yes, teens. Many people may think that domestic violence does not affect teens, but they are included as well. Intimate partner abuse is a major public health problem due to it affecting more than 2 million women and 800,000 men, also resulting in homelessness, injury, death, and also billions of healthcare costs, and also loss of work productivity. Intimate partner abuse has been in so many ways endorsed through all societies through legal sanctioning, through the lack of legal protections for women, lesbians, gays, bisexuals, and transgenders. Domestic abuse strikes couples of all races, religions, social, economic classes, and any sexual orientation. Many of the risk factors for men or women is lack of high school education, witnessing violence as a child, having a low sense of self-esteem, self-worth, and also attitudes towards male domination, thinking that men are the dominant factor in submission. So, the history of domestic violence. Domestic violence has occurred in homes throughout the world for several decades. Before the 1970s, judges, police officers, they would all downplay domestic violence, making a joke of it, saying, the wife is annoying the husband, giving some time to cool off, things like that. But in 1993, the Violence Against Women's Act was put into place, and that was to increase the safety and the awareness of women who were victims, and also documenting cases of domestic violence. So now you know a little bit about the history of domestic violence. Let's talk about men and domestic violence. The government, the media, everyone usually focus on women being victims of domestic violence, but men are actually also victims as well. Many men do not report being victims of domestic violence because they feel that they may be ridiculed, and they feel that them being males, that they should be presented as being stronger and should be able to subdue a female attacker easier than a woman would a man. Um, and more money is actually spent on women's programs, and more campaigns and things like that are launched more on the behalf of women than men. Domestic violence, it goes undocumented a lot, but 12 million people per year report experiencing rape, violence, or stalking by an intimate partner. Domestic violence, it affects 76% of women, and 21% um, make up the statistics for domestic violence. Women do have the highest case of abuse, but there's also men as well. And as I stated earlier, a lot of men do not actually report um, being abused. So, there is some ways that we can help to prevent domestic violence. Victims of domestic violence is very emotional and stressful. Many people that experience it, they may have low self-esteem. They may blame themselves for the abuse. They may even make excuses for the abuser. So it takes a lot of patience and understanding when you're dealing with a victim of abuse. Some ways that you can help: recognize the signs of domestic violence. If someone is being withdrawn, they have unexplained injuries, they seem fearful of other people in their household, talk to them about it. Let them know that you understand. Try not to be judgmental. Um, and encourage them to take part in activities outside of the abusive relationship. Also, you can give them information about shelters and anti-abuse programs. They also have an 800 number you can call, 1-800-799-SAFE. So in conclusion, we have talked about the history of domestic violence. We've also talked about men and domestic violence, and we've talked about how you can actually help um, people that are um, being victims of domestic violence. If we use some of those tips, we all can do our part to help prevent and stop domestic violence. Thank you.